Closed form. What is form? Form is the design of a thing as a whole, the configuration of all its parts. All poems have form, whether it is through line lengths, meters, syllables, or rhyme scheme. What are types of form? Closed form is where a poet follows a pattern. Most common closed form poems are symmetrical with groups of stanzas with rhymes. Open form is when a poet writes poems as a process, able to use spaces as wanted, change line lengths, and changes the shape of a poem.
Between the two poems for today, we're going to be focusing more on the closed form. The most important part of closed form poetry are the formal patterns. Blank verse is an unrhymed iambic pentameter which is not classified as a stanza. A couplet is a two-line stanza usually rhymed. A heroic or closed couplet is two rhymed lines of iambic pentameter. A parallel is when words, phrases, clauses, or sentences are side by side in agreement or similarity. An antithesis is when words, phrases, clauses, or sentences are side by side in contrast. A tercet is a group of three lines which is usually kept to one rhyme sound. Terza rima is a rhyme scheme ABA, BCB, CDC, DED, EFE. A quatrain is a stanza consisting of 4 lines which are used in more rhymes than any other form. Symbolic verse is a pattern established by a certain number of syllables to a line. Acrostic is a poem in which the initial of each line read down spells out a word or words. Bound poetry is a type of poetry created by taking words, phrases, and sometimes whole passages from other sources.
Formal patterns examples. This is an example of an acrostic poem. Black or brown is the color of their fur. Eating is the first instinct they have. Attacks its prey viciously. Really they are going extinct. The sonnet. Fixed forms. A poem inherits from other poems certain familiar elements of structure. Unvarying number of lines or stanza patterns. Conventions. Expected features of a poem such as themes, subjects, attitudes, or figures of speech. Sonnet has its own rhyme schemes and 14 lines of iambic pentameter. English Shakespearean sonnet rhymes cohere in 4 clusters: ABAB, CDCD, EFEF, GG. Breaks it into 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. Shape the poet's statements. Italian Petrarchan sonnet has the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA, and first 8 lines and adds CD, 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 CDE, CDE, CD, CC, DC, and fast 6 lines. Octave. 8 lines clustered together in a poem. Sestet. 6 lines clustered together in a poem.
One of the most well-known examples of a sonnet is William Shakespeare's Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion timid, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this and gives life to thee. This sonnet does have 14 lines, and every other line does rhyme.
The epigram. Epigram is a short poem that ends in a witty, ingenious way, tends to be malicious. Limerick, 5 anapestic lines that has the rhyme scheme AABBA. Clerihew, 4-line rhyming biographical poem with a rhyme scheme of AABBA. BB. I hardly ever tire of love or rhyme. That's why I'm poor and have rotten time. Wendigo. Epigram. I sat next to the Duchess at tea. It was just as I feared it would be. Her rumblings abdominal were truly phenomenal, and everyone thought it was me. Woodrow Wilson. Limerick.
Other poetry. Villanelle is a form from French court poets. It includes 19 lines, 5 tercets, and 1 quatrain. It has 2 repeating rhymes and 2 refrains. Sestina translates to a song of sixes. It has 6-line stanzas and repeats the last word of each line in each stanza in a different order. It closes with 3 lines. Rubaiyat is a form from the Persians written in quatrain with a rhyme scheme of AABA. A haiku is a Japanese poem of 17 syllables with 3 lines consisting of syllable patterns of 5-7-5. Tanka is another Japanese poem made of 5 lines with syllable patterns of 5-7-5-7-7-7. The ghazal from the Middle Eastern Indian area. It consists of 5 to 15 couplets, averaging around at 7. It has a refrain at the end of the first line and the rest of the poem's second lines. Pantoum is a Malay poem which followed French and English poems that has a rhyme scheme of ABAB that is linked by repeating lines. Sapphic stanza is an Aeolic verse written in 4 lines. It is from the Greeks. Triolet is a French poem that has its first 2 lines repeated according to a set of pattern. Envoy is a short stanza at the end of the poem.
Examples of other poetry. When first we met, we did not guess that love would prove so hard a master of more than common friendliness. When first we met, we did not guess who could foretell this sore distress, this irretrievable disaster. When first we met, we did not guess that love would prove so hard a master. Robert Briggs, Toilet.
A lightning flash between the forest trees. I have seen water. Masao Kashiki, a haiku. See how the blossoms that are falling about me fade after the long rain, while quietly as in prayer I have gazed my life away. Onono Kamachi, Tanka.
Example of closed form poem.
Prepare for trouble.
Make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite peoples within our nation.
To denounce the vows of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse.
James.
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now, prepare to fight. Meow, that's right!
This has been Closed Form Poem.
Thank you!